Jump Ship, and it is by Keepsake Games. Dave has a long sigh.
Are you excited for this game?
I think I'm excited for a couple reasons. One, it's not a huge title game. Like, the people that are making this game isn't a AAA title, so I'm not overly expecting something grand, if that makes sense. So I'm setting my expectations a little lower, hoping that they'll exceed those lower expectations.
Yeah, and this has been in development for a while, right? They announced this like years ago, but it was called Hyperspace then, right?
I didn't see that, but you might be correct.
Yeah, I think they announced this game quite a few years ago. Initially, it was called Hyperspace. So if you guys know anything about Hyperspace, it is now Jump Ship, and that's the game that we're talking about.
Yep. So let's go ahead and pull up the trailer.
Jump Ship. So if you guys are just listening, basically right now what we're seeing is, I mean, it looks really, really cool. I think there's so many different aspects to this game. So right now we're seeing like inside the ship. This is a first-person shooter. Basically right now you're inside kind of like your stranglehold. You can see that you're running around with a bunch of other people. There's ship-based combat, so you can see a bunch of scenes where you're kind of flying around. I think the world itself looks really cool. I think they did a great job designing this like space type of world. And we're also seeing these clips of what appears to be like a jetpack that you have. So I think that the traversal system is really, really cool. But I mean, I think this is going to be a game that like is for a very specific audience. Do you just like honest opinion? This reminds me of Warframe. Like this is kind of
Warframe. I've never played Warframe, so I don't know what Warframe's like.
Yeah, this just kind of reminds me of Warframe.
See, I have a different game that it reminds me of.
Okay.
I think it's like it's like a space Sea of Thieves, to be honest.
That's
what it reminds me.
I saw that comparison too.
Oh, did you? Like that's what I thought. I didn't know other people were comparing it like that.
Yeah, people are comparing it to a Sea of Thieves space version, which I mean is fine. I just don't. There's nothing here for me that I'm like, wow.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, I'm not the opposite in terms of like this would be the best game I've ever played, but I think it's fun and unique compared to a lot of other games that I see. And like I said, it's a smaller like studio making the game, and they're not trying to sell it as the next best game in this genre. I think they're just, if you want to play a fun co-op PvE game with your friends, like this is it. Like there's not anything groundbreaking or anything like that, but I'm pretty excited about this one just because I think it's going to be a fun game to play with friends.
And this is strictly a PvE model, right? You're not going to be going against other teams or anything like that.
Nope.
So can you play it solo?
You can play it solo.
Okay.
So that was one thing that they did make sure to share. It's better played with multiple people, but they said that you can play it solo.
I just don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about it really, but I don't have anything good to say about it either. I'm just like kind of indifferent.
Okay, well then let me just kind of describe what the game is a little bit more. So like you said, it's a mission-based PvE game. You can play either solo or up to 4 players, and with the 4 players, you can play it with a strategy, which is kind of cool. So like each player can have a specific role, but there's no classes. So like everybody brings their own gear and like however they want to play the game. But essentially, like, let's say you are the host of the game. Like you're like, okay, I'm going to be the pilot. You're going to be the engineer. So you go around fixing the ship if it's getting attacked. You can have another person like be the field explorer and like they're doing some like field exploring, but you can also like do all that together. Like you don't have to be like, okay, Jimmy, you're going to go do this. Dave, you're going to go do this. Like, if you want to do everything together, you can. Obviously, I don't think you can all fly the ship at once, I don't know how you do that anyway. But what I thought was really cool is on your ship, like, it's not like everybody has to be in the ship at once. And I thought that was really cool. Because, like, most of the time when you, like, play a ship fighting or a space game, like, you have to be in the ship. You can't go on the outside of the ship while you're flying. I thought that was cool. Like you can be on the ship while somebody else is flying it and like shooting outside the ship and repairing it and moving all along in the ship. I thought that was cool.
So in those ship-based combat sections, like how does that work in a group of 4 people? Like, is
I'm
one
guessing it's
person
different guns.
okay, so everybody's kind of occupying a different gun?
Hmm. That's what I think. And like I said, you'll be able to go outside the ship and like do like first person shooter out there. I don't know why you would do that, but like unless you have to make repairs outside on the ship, and I think that's pretty cool.
Going outside of the ship in the middle of space is the scariest thing in the world.
I don't know, maybe they have magnetic boots and they're holding them against the ship. I don't know, but I thought it was cool because, like, like when you do play these space games, it's like you're strictly only going to be in the ship. Like you can't go outside of it.
Okay. And did you find anything about like how big this world is?
I did not. And the only thing I saw in terms of like the exploration thing is so it's mission based. So you select different missions.
Yeah.
But they said kind of like with the ocean game, each run is different. So like each mission you do will have a different feel to it, which I think is pretty cool. I don't think it's procedurally generated. I think it's going to be more things like you go into this mission, pirates might show up this time, or something else might be in a different spot. Like I think that's what they mean when it's going to be a different run each time you go in.
And is there any type of like customization to this? Like, can you customize your ship and like your weapons and all that
Yep.
stuff?
Yep. So you'll be able to do that with it. You'll be able to buy more ships, upgrade ships with the loot and stuff that you find within your exploration missions and things like that. So I wonder if it's going to be more like an extraction shooter type of game where you go in there, do the mission, get a bunch of loot, come out, upgrade your ship, go to a different mission, things like that.
That's kind of what I was thinking because that's how Warframe is set up. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of the same idea where you load in. You can have like your clan and everybody. You have like a home base and everybody on the ship, and you do these missions together. And it's very. The thing about it though is like, and you mentioned this a lot with Outpost. These games are like they just feel grindy. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I get that same sense with this game. Granted, when I was previewing Outpost, I was super excited where I could just my base was going to be epic from the beginning. So I hope that like maybe my ship won't be epic, but I hope the battles are epic from the beginning. You know what I mean? That's where I kind of like with Outpost Infinity Siege, I felt like even the battles weren't epic, the looting wasn't epic. I think with this one it looks more to be like you have to fight your way for the loot and like extract. Whereas like Outpost was you go find loot, find loot, find loot, find loot, go to the next mission and fight this lame wave of enemies and not get very much for it. Or you go find all this loot and you get too hard of an enemy and like doesn't compare to your base and then you die. So
Is there a story to this?
I don't know. I'm guessing there is because it is mission based. I'm guessing it'll have some type of story. I didn't see much on that part.
Because that's usually my issue with games like this. It's like it needs to have a story because I'm just like there's only so many times that I can do these missions, these grindy missions, and I just like come out of it and it's like, okay, well that's the 24th time that I've done that mission. Like, what did I get out of? Oh, I got some loot and a new gun. It's like I'm so not interested. Like
That's like there's different types of gamers out there, and for me, like I don't mind the grind as long as I'm getting stuff for it. And like I feel like I'm accomplishing something. And it's hard to say because I haven't played this game, but to me, like if this game like gives you like new ships and like trying to like collect all the ships, like that's cool to me. As long as I'm working towards something, and I do think that there is going to be some type of story base with it, just because it's mission based, like exploration, whereas like Outpost is like just go loot stuff until you can build your base better, and like didn't really have that. Whereas this is like it's emphasizing the mission based stuff.
and did you find is this free to play or is this have an actual price tag?
No price tag yet. It's still in like Steam. I believe it's gonna be an early access game, so like it might have like it's gonna start off small and probably a small price, but I don't know. Like to me, like I don't think they're trying to push it to be like one of the like a game of the year type of game, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, yeah, and like we said, it's a small studio, and we love supporting small studios here. I don't think they're pushing for a game of the year either. I just, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. This game appeals to a very specific audience. I unfortunately am not part of that audience. I wish it all the best. To me, it kind of, yeah, it looks like Warframe. It looks like Sea of Thieves, with ships. It's just another one of those games that kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
With you,
With
with
me,
Dave.
yes, with
Yeah.
me, yes, with me.
For me, like I'm excited. I think this one has a potential of being a game that I'll enjoy for an extended amount of time, especially if I can find somebody to play with. Again, I don't think it's anything groundbreaking, but I do think that the idea of it is really cool. And if they truly are, so they say that it's seamless transition from going onto the ship, getting on top of the ship, and like flying the ship. So I really hope that it does have that seamless feel. Like when I land my ship, I don't want a cutscene. Like I want to be able to just walk off my ship, and that's what they're saying you could do. Whereas like Starfield, like you had to like that was so many transitions, like transition to get onto your ship, transition to fly out to outer space. So I'm hoping that it truly is seamless in terms of stuff like that.
Yeah, I did see that they're saying it's a seamless transition, and you said Outpost did a great job with that, right?
Yeah, it
Jumping
was
from the
very
mech, yeah, and stuff
yeah,
like that.
jumping from the mag, jumping from the top down, and things like that. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I am excited about this one. I'm excited with like my expectations are low to be like I'm not saying like oh this is be a game that I'm gonna absolutely love. It's a game I'm like I'm gonna try, especially if it's at a lower price, and I'm like "Yeah, I'll give it a few hours or I'll play it with some friends, but it's not one that I'm like jumping the gun to play right away.
I'm glad that you brought up the price tag, because that was going to be my question to you: is what price point does this come out at where you're not interested anymore?
What I'm not interested at,
Yes, if
if
I'm
it's a full $70 retail game, no chance.
no chance.
No chance. Especially so one of my qualms with the game, that's a funny word. I haven't used that
That's
probably
a
ever in my
great
life.
word. Look at
Yeah.
us. Look at
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. But one of my qualms with the game is some of the animations of like the character movement was kind of funky. But again, that's if it's a small game and it's a $30-$40 game, sure. Like that's not a big deal. I can look past that. Um, but yeah, I think $30-$40 is where I'll kind of put my limit at.
I feel like that's right about where it should be. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first saw this game, I was kind of thinking that this was almost gonna be a free to play. Just from the look, but yeah, I think $30 is probably right around where they should be with the game. But I mean, I'm probably gonna catch a lot of heat in the comments, but like, like I said, this just isn't a game that kind of appeals to me. So and again, I don't have anything bad to say about it. I don't really have anything groundbreaking to say about it either. So I think it's just kind of like one of those games, and I hope it's really, really good. But on a positive note, I add the, obviously Adam brought this to the table, so this is a game that he's interested in. I would love to know, like, what are some things that you would love to see in this game that would really kind of take it to the next level and exceed your expectations of what it is right now?
I think one thing I'd love to see is a plethora of ships. Like maybe like not have like you can't own so many, but like have the option to like, ooh, I'm gonna sell this ship so I can get this really epic ship. Like have a multitude of ships that I can select and customize. Um, Customization of the character, I would hope that you'd have that, especially if it's a 4-player co-op to kind of set each other apart. Um, Honestly, like I think just I based off of what I'm seeing, like the battles already look epic to me. Like I feel like the space battles are gonna have some type of epic feeling and intense feeling with the combat in the air. So I hope those feel really good. So like in Starfield, I didn't like the combat in like air. Like I thought it was pretty wonky. I thought it was kind of boring. So I hope it's fast paced. And then the land combat again, I think it looks like it's going to be pretty fast paced and like get to kind of work together. So as long as it shows that, I think that's about it. As long as it runs smoothly too. That's all what I'm looking for.
I got one thing. I would absolutely love if this game allowed you to have multiple ships. So like,
So you can.
okay,
That's for sure.
for like each, like I can have my own ship and you can have your own ship.
Yeah. That is one thing I don't know.
See, that's what I was looking for, and I would love that
Yeah.
because as much as I would love to be on Captain Adam's ship and just patching holes whenever he needs me to, I would much rather just have my own ship and then we fly
Yeah.
together in like a fleet. That sounds really cool to me.
Yeah. And honestly, that's kind of even in Sea of Thieves, you can't do that.
I don't understand why they don't do that.
I think part of it is like they want you like because there's different ship sizes.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they don't want just a bunch of solo people running around the game, or maybe they want it to have. I don't know because that would be so cool. Like I don't know why you can't just load into a game of Sea of Thieves with like multiple ships. You couldn't when I used to play. I know you can do private servers and play like that. I think now. Actually, I don't know if you can do that. I think you have to like guess until you get into the same server.
I
Like back
mean,
out, join, back out, join.
I guess I get it for Sea of Thieves, but this is a PvE model,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
know.
it's just you're just playing against AI. So
Right.
there shouldn't be any restrictions with you each having your own ship, and I think that would be really really cool because, like I said, as much as I would love to be Adam's ship bitch, I would also just also love to have my own ship and we just
Yeah.
roll together in like a fleet. Could you imagine we're like a 4-man fleet of TIE
Yeah.
fighters like going through and like, dude, that would be so sick.
I just think that would take away from some of the working together though, and then it all individually based. Like I'm worried about my ship, not your ship, and like I feel like there's something to be said about like Adam, you gotta go like save this part of the ship while I'm still fighting this character or like these enemies. And Dave, you gotta go man the guns. Like that's kind of cool to me. Whereas like if I'm like, okay, I'm flying my ship, shooting the guns, pushing square to repair my ship in the middle of the air, like you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I get it, but I also think like I don't think it loses that kind of collectiveness working together, right? Because it just instead of taking the focus on one ship, it takes the focus off of the ship itself and more into the combat of it, which I think is really cool because then now you're working together in the sense where it's like, okay, Adam, I'm going through the middle, you flank left, like come in, like s- person X, like come in from the right side, and like it just, I think it makes the way that you work more tactical and combat based, which I think would be a little bit more fun than like, yo, Adam, go patch that hole. Like,
And then go play Star Wars Squadrons, Dave, if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I think since it is mission based and like looting based, I feel like it doesn't need to have that. But I do think that some type of fleet system would be cool. Or if like maybe they increase the amount of players in the game instead of just four, like it's 16 and there's four ships and like you play with some randoms to kind of work together. You know what I mean? Kind of like the how Sea of Thieves is set up where like you have a crew and then you can come across other crews. I think that would be kind of cool.
yeah, because and again, it's nice to have that like option of your own ship because like you said, um, this could be a situation where it's like you might not load in with four friends. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing with four friends and you're all on the same ship, that's fine because you can be cool with each other. But what if you just load in with somebody who's just kind of a jerk and they're just like, I'm flying the ship, you just
Oh no, no, you can play by yourself, like completely. You don't need to play with anybody. Yeah. Your own ship by yourself. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah. Now you're like, okay, I'll fly my own ship without anybody. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. But other than that, I think the game, yeah, I think it would be cool instead maybe not having your full own ship, but like having like a mini like speed racer. You know what I mean? Talking about like a speed bike or zipping around. That'd be kind of cool.
that would be even sweeter, dude. I would take the speed like 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, or like a mech. Like you jump off the mech and start protecting the ship that way.
Take
Whew.
my money.
Yeah.
Take
See
my
now?
money.
Come on. All right. What's the dev again? It is Keepsake Games. I got you. I got you. I'll
We're
add some good
we're
ideas to the game.
spitting out gold right here,
Yeah.
guys. We're spitting
Yeah.
out gold.
So, but other than that, I'm pretty excited for it. Again, my expectations are low to be exceeded, and it's going to be on my list if it's not $70.
If you guys are interested in games like this, definitely give them a look. You know, we love supporting small devs here. This again is a small dev. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not crapping on the game. It's just not typically a game that I play. It does look very interesting. It looks like it's got some great aspects. And if I can have my own ship, I will 100% play with Adam.